Welcome back to the Stanley Parable, everybody. We are going into this room.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
We're
he
gonna
entered the door
go
on his left.
downstairs before going up to the boss's office. I want to see what that ending is like. Oh boy. Oh my. We can't go into the meeting room
Yet there was
again.
not a single person here either.
Oh, that's
Feeling
so
a wave
gay.
of disbelief,
Who
Stanley
cares?
decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might
Hello
find an
again,
answer there.
broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there
Shut
was
up,
nothing
narrator.
here, so he turned around and got back on track.
All right.
Coming to a staircase,
All right.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
So downstairs. What is downstairs? I wonder. Redness from this light and cardboard. Cardboard's not the issue we have here.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
No.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that.
Oh, no,
And in
so
such a
instead-
competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense.
No.
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations.
Like
For
that
example,
painting on the wall.
Why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
Whoa!
Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
What?
No, Stanley said to himself. This is all too strange. This can't be real. And at
What?
last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just
What?
hadn't found the words for it.
What?
I'm dreaming! he
What?
yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His
That would make
co-workers
sense.
weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't
I'm
crazy
dreaming.
after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons.
I thought you
may as well
enjoyed it.
enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So,
Whoa,
he imagined
it's
himself
different.
flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Whoa. Whoa.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield.
What?
And it too appeared. It was so much fun. And Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all
God damn it,
entered
it's
Stanley's head. One he was
repeating again.
amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Because
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange.
Stop.
I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
This is gonna hurt my
And while he
head.
thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that
Probably.
if he's asleep,
Cup.
he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
Chairs.
Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Stop messing
Now,
with
hearing
my
the voice
head.
speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream.
want
Did
that
the voice
one.
not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Do it.
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
Close your
He
eyes.
felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself.
Let me
I'm
wake
through
up.
with this dream.
I'm
I
not
wish it
through
could be
with this
over.
dream.
Let me go
Let's
back to
play
my
with
job.
ponies in
Let
the
me continue
field
pushing
of
the
grass.
buttons. Please, it's all I want.
Where's my pony?
I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
I want my pony.
My life is normal. I am normal.
No, I'm not normal.
Everything will be fine.
Do you see this? This is not
I
normal.
am okay.
I'm not okay. I wanted a pony. Wait. Ha-ha!
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be
Everything's
real.
getting
I must be.
red.
Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
What?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What? I'm a woman now.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind.
No, you're not.
I know what is real and what
listen to
isn't.
him.
It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Whoa. Talk about that story. That ending, though. Man. What the hell? There's paper everywhere. Click. Why is there paper everywhere? Narrator! What did you do?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Why is it?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I guess it started over again, so let's go towards another ending.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Ooh! Look what I figured out. I think... Oh! What is... what? Did I...
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map
you.
until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along.
Ah,
He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be?
You're a son of a
Why don't
bitch,
we
that's
take
what
a
I
minute
think.
just to drink it all in?
No!
Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No.
Ah, then in that case, we'll continue.
Okay.
But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it
don't
would have
know.
been particularly different?
Maybe.
Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place.
That's a good point.
Now,
but
think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option?
No.
Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even
Seems like it.
longer? How
I
long
don't
will you
know.
spend in
What
total
would it
just
be?
to have heard all the narration?
I don't really
and
wanna
this is
hear
rich.
all of it.
Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've
Ooh.
come to see what happens
That's a
in
good
this one.
point.
So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one?
I have no idea.
Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if
Good
the
job.
other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps
let's
you're
go
not.
crazy.
In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky.
Really?
Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
No. Still not sick of this gag. Well, that was the end of that whiteness room outside of the window-ness stuff. I don't know what the hell was happening, but what the hell ever. I hit the microphone, I'm sorry. But thank you so much for watching this episode. My lip is itchy, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye. Stop it. Stop it. Get away from that fire, baby. Stay away from that fire. Baby. 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 Shut up, baby. You're annoying. It's always just quiet. Ah!
By simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Whoa. Secrets.